All right, so welcome back. This is another severe weather analysis here today. This is March 27th, 2025, and I'll show you pretty much the Storm Prediction Center outlook for the next few days, and we'll discuss a little bit of the outbreak coming Sunday and Monday, and we'll discuss pretty in depth, honestly, about today's warm front risk because this has really intrigued me. So start off with today, the 27th, Thursday. We have a 2% tornado parameter here down in southern Texas near Corpus Christi and Brownsville. And then we have a 2% tornado risk centered around this region where Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, and Kansas all meet, just north of Kansas City. We have a large wind risk down south. We have a 15% risk down here in southern Texas. Just a modest, expansive 5% up in the Kansas, Missouri region, with a 15% hail risk within that and a larger 5% hail risk. So let's go ahead and pull up the local radar at the moment because we already have some storms in Kansas producing severe weather. We've had one for the past hour here producing large hail. I think we've even had a significant hail report. But just west of Kansas City, we do have a supercell at the moment. Let's see the warning criteria. Probably producing, I would say, golf ball size hail based off what that looks. But we do have some showers and thunderstorms all across Missouri as well. Not just the storms we have in Kansas. But we do have probably some strong hail cores in here. I'm surprised these aren't warned yet, but that's up for the National Weather Service to do. But at the moment, you can see this is our beginning of the warm front pushing through here. We'll probably have a risk later in the day as well. But these are our morning storms here as the first bit of the warm front makes its way through. This is because our tornado risk is right up here, and this will be later in the day. I might even move it a little farther north, honestly. But so this is what we got going so far. We already have some storms here in Kansas, and I do believe we have our storms in Texas as well. Texas is under a moderate risk of flooding today and tomorrow for parts of Houston, but that southern portion of Texas, which is pretty much where the 2% tornado risk is at the moment, is where our moderate risk is. We already probably have some showers in this area, if I am correct. I believe we do. If not, it will be very soon. We will have some showers. So far it's clear across our southern Texas area, which is not really a good thing because this is going to allow the atmosphere to destabilize more, which is might make our severe weather risk today a little higher in Texas than originally I thought. But Storm Prediction Center has issued a medical discussion pretty much saying what I have. Isolated hail locally, severe gusts remain possible until late morning. Only a 20% probability for a watch. I really doubt that watch will be issued. Elevated convection has persisted this morning from southern Iowa and northern Missouri into eastern Kansas within a low warm convection regime. While this convection has generally been subsevere, some intensification has been recently noted near and south of Topeka. And I think we already have, we'll go back to the storm reports. We already have some large hail reported. Yeah, we already have some significant hail reports out of here. So this makes me wonder if today might be a very large hail day along the warm front. Warm front setups can produce some very large hail, and I believe that's what we're going to get. We have a 2-inch and we have a 2-inch size hail, which is like a tennis ball-ish, I believe. And then we also have a $half size hail. We have a 61 measured mile per hour wind gust as well in the same county with a giant hail. So these storms are producing some large hail and damaging winds. So keep an eye out for that. If you're in the Kansas area here, but we're going to talk about our tornado risk, which is going to be right about in here, pretty much where the Storm Prediction Center has plotted it. I might say a little farther north and a little farther south. I might make that risk a little bit larger personally. I don't know if I'd upgrade it to a 5% personally, but I would definitely keep that in mind. So here's our low, somewhere broad low trying to form out here in our Colorado vicinity. But with a warm front draped this way, see if I can find a wind shift. I'm going to go ahead and go to surface observations. Let's see, we have pretty much 60 degrees. Let's see, our warm front's right about in here. We go from the 60s to the 50s. Somewhere in here is a really weak warm front. Here we get upper 50s and upper 40s. So a bit of not a very strong, large, warm front. But 40s here, 50s here, 60s and 50s down this way. So definitely some bit of a warm front out of here. We can definitely see the wind direction coming out the south and then coming more out the east the farther north we go. So a little bit of a warm front coming through. This is where our storms would probably be forming on. We don't have any major cold front or dry line moving through. I want to look at dew points, might be able to spot it better. No, that's not necessarily true because 30-degree dew points are all the way down in here. We definitely have warm front somewhere in here. That's where our storms are going to be forming off. Go ahead and look at the mixed layer cape, and we'll go out to 6 hours, which from when I'm making this is 10 o'clock. That'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm thinking the storms are having their best potential, because that's where our instability is the best. Lines up with our risk area right in the northern Missouri, southwestern Iowa, and Nebraska, Kansas area. Some values near 1,500. Plenty for our warm front supercell setup today. Go ahead and pull up our effective bulk shear, which, yeah, it's definitely going to be a decent area of between at least 30 knots in most places, which is, it's not the best, but it's definitely going to keep some organized updrafts. You can definitely tell with the storm vectors that we don't really have a cold front, because it'd be kind of different, but we definitely have a warm front setup today. For sure. And I'm going to go ahead and pull up a temperature wind and dew point, see what temperatures we get in this area. Of course, I'm just going to pull up the Kansas City surface temperature high for today, but we'll go ahead and see what the storm prediction analysis says. It's pretty much saying temperatures near 80 degrees, but you can see our sharp drop off. There's our warm front. It should really start taking hold this afternoon. Right now, as the surface observations, there is some semblance of a warm front in the local area. But according to this, we should have a pretty strong warm front develop, pretty much right where our risk is. So I think anywhere personally from here to here is where our storms will have our best potential to develop. I know it's staying some storms up here. Of course, we'll reach 60 degrees or so up here. Maybe hail in this area. I don't really, maybe a storm or two up here, but definitely storms along the warm front and possibly storms south of the warm front. But definitely in this corridor right here is what I'd say we have the best chance for an isolated supercell to producing large hail and damaging winds. And I'm going to see if I can pull up bulk shear surface of 1 kilometer. So there's pretty much a bullseye this morning. I don't really know if that's going to move later out in the day, but we already have some decent low-level shear at the moment. So if that stays in this general area with that warm front and our instability pushing its way through here, I'm thinking if I was going to chase something like this, I'd set up right about here, right where this meets. I set up in this southern Nebraska, because I personally think in here it's a good area to watch for a tornadic supercell later today, and into Missouri as well. Don't want to forget about that. But let's go ahead and pull up the visible satellite. We don't even have that much cloud cover this morning. We do have our Kansas storm, been producing hail since it was back here, and we have pretty much its sisters and cousins over here producing all the hail. And they're not severe, but they're definitely probably producing damaging winds and hail at the moment, and probably eventually will become severe to some degree. And then we have our Missouri storms. This convection probably will move on and die out throughout the day, and convection will reinitiate later on in the day. But we still might have, these storms still might be lingering around later into the day. You never really know. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the latest HRR on the 14Z. It pretty much shows what I just said. It shows that Kansas storm and the storms in Missouri necessarily dying out, but weakening and moving off southeast. But HRR here not really doing a good job showing any convection initializing later in the day. And that's what I'm thinking might happen, is we could have a blue sky bust out here. But the 13Z run showing something trying to form, maybe a little bit farther south in Missouri. Yeah, shows something right there try to form, but not anything storm impressive wise. These storms this morning, storms this morning are probably going to die as well. I'm going to go ahead and go to the 12Z run. pretty much still showing nothing. No initiation out here. It's entirely possible this doesn't happen. It might not be showing as sharp of a warm front, probably. No, it still shows that a very sharp warm front here in a really warm temperatures across this Nebraska area. So my personal opinion, if anything's going to initialize, it's going to be along here where our ingredients are the best and we still have some warm front. I mean, we have some bit of a warm front. We have low 60s, then upper 70s on the other end. That's enough to create some buoyancy, some lift, to get something off the ground. There might be too strong of a cap. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the day one. Not the day one. Go ahead and pull up our, what do you call it? Let's send the weather balloon up. Send up our hodograph and Scooty plot for the day in this local area. Observe sounding. That's it. Go ahead and pull up, what's the most recent? As you see, 27th. Yes, the 27th. Go ahead and pull up this morning. So, thing is, dew points are not impressive in this Kansas core. This might change through our convection later in the day, well, not later this morning. But we already have decently steep blast rates, 70-degree surface temperatures, an interesting-looking hodograph, definitely some elongated shear here. We definitely have plenty of bulk shear. Not much turning in the low levels for sure. That might change as the day goes on. I still have hope for something like that to happen. And go ahead and pull up. Go ahead and pull up a little farther south. Yeah, moisture's not even good in southern Missouri. Moisture is definitely better down here in Norman. This is actually a really good sounding, believe it or not, here. If storms could form in Oklahoma today, it'd be interesting, but that's probably not going to happen. But this will probably move north. Definitely have an elevated mixed layer here. Bet that's going to be a little stronger than this is going to show. That's probably what the HRR is picking up on. But it's not very strong at the moment, which makes me wonder if the HRR model is being a little too strong with that cap in the atmosphere. Because if it wasn't, I got a feeling it's definitely plenty unstable out here for definitely something big's going to happen. Yeah, that little area I was talking about, I mean, we have almost 2,000 in mixed layer. Not very much low-level instability, but a little pocket of some decent, not necessarily great, but definitely some instability down here. It's probably underdoing that as well. I don't think it's showing the atmosphere really good today. But definitely an interesting risk here. Definitely 50s dew points, though. That's pretty good. If we can get a storm to take advantage of that little bit of 3-cape this model is showing with our instability out here and break the cap, I mean, you really could have a really impressive supercell in this kind of setup, in my opinion. I'm just saying. There's a lot of factors pointing against this today. A lot of things that are probably going to happen and probably keep the storms from forming. It's very possible we don't get anything today. It's just one of those days. You just have to look at it, look at the models, keep in touch. The fact that we've already had some strong storms this morning just shows how unstable our atmosphere is for early morning storms in a honestly unimpressive environment at the moment to be producing large hail and even some damaging winds. It's not the greatest sign for residents around there, but it's a perfect sign for storm chasers because it shows that storms are definitely going to have potential out here today. And the fact that the cap isn't that strong this morning, that's why we had these strong storms here in southern Kansas. I bet southern Kansas looks pretty much like this Norman sounding does with this area of instability and a very weak cap. But the wind shear profile could look better, personally. But we definitely know it's better farther north in Kansas. If I go back up to our Kansas City sounding, I mean, that hodograph is definitely impressive. Maybe not for supercells, but definitely, maybe not for tornadoes, but definitely impressive for supercells. The only thing is, low-level shear can increase along, especially warm fronts sometimes. It's sometimes a hit or miss. But if this dew point was better, if we had a 40-degree, 50-degree dew points right now, I'd feel better about that, personally. But that 31, that 70/31, that is just very, very pitiful moisture. Very, very, very pitiful. We definitely have some better moisture in the mid-levels. But we need this to at least a 20-degree dew point increase within the next few hours before I'd say it's any chance for real supercells yet. But that's the HRR is showing that happening. I mean, it's showing a 57-degree dew point, which even a 60-degree dew point, I doubt that will happen. But mid-50s, maybe mid-50s across this area. Our better moisture doesn't really seem to get close to this area till tomorrow. But it's definitely picking up on that lack of moisture right now. Kansas City, 30 degrees here. So our warm front might, not our warm front, but our moisture is probably creeping in on this area because we've definitely had this storm out here. So it gives me some promising, some promising signals today. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find an unstable area to look at with the RAP model. We'll go ahead and take a sounding out here, a predicted sounding for later today. Just find an unstable area. And that cap looks, where the instability looks the best. I'm personally thinking this very southern tip of Nebraska is looking promising for a beautiful storm today. Maybe not a tornado with that lack of low-level instability. The 0 to 3 kilometer or whatever it is. That's it, 0 to 3 kilometer cape. Didn't look very impressive. We did have some values around 50 that could get the job done, but I don't know. So this is our sounding here. I wouldn't pay attention to this shear profile. We know this is underdoing it because it's already longer. We've already have a very elongated shear profile in that Kansas City sounding, and I think that will stay throughout the day for the most part. Maybe in a little bit of increase in low-level shear as we get that moisture pushing into the region. But we definitely still have some turning here, and not very much backing. That's good. Shows decent mixed layer instability for sure. High dew point temperature spreads though. It's a little on the high end for tornadoes. I mean, you could still get one in this kind of setup. That's almost a 60-degree dew point. But 82 over 56, that's definitely above 20 in spreads, which is, for the most part, you want temperatures and dew points to be within 20 degrees of each other. That's not always true, though. You can still get a tornado with this kind of setup. It's definitely possible, especially if any terrain or outflow boundaries and storm mergers happen. But that's something you really can't forecast this far out. I mean, that's something you forecast within 30 minutes to an hour. But there's our instability. Doing a pretty good job picking up on that. Yeah, it looks good. This is probably what we'll be seeing. Maybe a little bit more shear, a little bit more bulk shear later in the day than it's showing here. But definitely impressive. Just have a feeling this one's showing the calf being broken later today. It's still possible the cap doesn't get broken and we see nothing. And it's also still possible that we don't get enough moisture. It's still possible that we don't get any low-level shear whatsoever. I don't think that's going to happen, but the moisture and the cap are what's worrying me right now. Because, we have, it's definitely showing 50-degree dew points. All these models are showing 50-degree dew points making their way into this area. Even a 60-degree dew point up here. If this happens, and we get some 3 cape in this area, you could definitely have a little storm up there producing a tornado. It's entirely possible. But I'm going to go ahead and mention the risk. I'll post a video tomorrow talking about the tornado outbreak later this week. I guess beginning of next week, technically. We have a risk again tomorrow. Nothing too much. Might be an interesting setup we have to talk about tomorrow morning down here in the south. Same thing for Saturday. This is piquing my interest. It's supposed to cap out that day, but if it doesn't, it could be pretty interesting. And this is our tornado break that might happen later this week. I'll make a full video about it tomorrow when the models come in range. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll keep you posted with probably some YouTube shorts about today's event. So follow my Twitter though, please.